good afternoon. You aren't allowed to sleep. First session, thoda allowed होता है. Second session, भी नहीं. I've been given 30 minutes, but I think the timer has been, someone's cheated on me and set the timer for 20 minutes. I have some clout in this company, so we'll put it for a little more time. The session is man-machine marketing meetup. So, I have to first of all clearly absolve myself and say I did not choose this title. I don't know why the woman is out. There are plenty of women in marketing. So it's man-woman marketing meetup. We have 2 or 3 questions because it's a tight panel. Let's start. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. So, shall we start with you because you were the first speaker who came in. Deepak. So, one generic question where we'd like you to share your experiences. Marketing's come a long way. I remember our bread and butter depended on print advertising at one point of time. When television came, they said print's dying on. That's a different story, that's a different battle. But today marketing is very technology driven. Okay? Automation has done a number on it, GenAI is doing a further number on it. What are you seeing now? I really don't want to start from the print days like I started right now. But what are you seeing? What have you seen over the past couple of years with your technology experience, and where do you see it going?
Sure, thank you. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me. I think when I started maybe 25, 30 years ago, there was consumer insights, there was advertising, TV, print, distribution, and that's all. I don't think that's gone away. So, a lot has changed, but the inciting and some of the media still exist. But yes, technology has come in a big way everywhere in all parts of our life, and so in marketing. And I think my colleagues are experts in a lot of what is happening today in automation and digital marketing, so they talk about it. But the latest buzzword, as everyone knows and talks about, is GenAI. So how further technology is going to revolutionize and change it. And when we talk of GenAI, there are 2, 3 things I think you can think of how it is more advanced, different from current automation or AI. First thing is it's very contextually aware. So it behaves like humans, it can interact like humans, because it can understand the context, and that's a big thing in case of a machine, and then adapt itself and react in line with that. Second thing is massive data generation. So you look at data in 3 ways: the volume of data, velocity of data, and variety of data. So GenAI can create huge amount of volume in seconds with a great velocity, which is seconds. And the output can be in video, text, audio, images, coding, anything. So the huge amount of variety of data it can create, which was unthinkable before. So there is data generation, there is contextualization, and then there is finally self-adaptive learning. GenAI can learn on itself. It's like a human, it's like an organism which evolves itself as it learns from the environment. Now, you must be wondering why I'm talking these things, because these things then finally determine what or how it's going to change what is there in marketing. So I can just share one use case and then I will pass it on. And that is hyper-personalization, which is something I'm working on and my team is also working on. With the amount of data, with the variety of data, and how it can react in a context and adapt in a context. If you have millions of users you want to talk to, you can talk to each one in a unique way, very specific way, and every second as you get a reaction through a chat bot, through a service bot, or through a digital customer journey, and it can be totally personalized in seconds. So I think this is going to massively change as we move forward, and there will be many more changes also.
Ashish.
See, so the way I look at it is, I don't think so marketing has changed. Marketing, when you talk about, there are 2 layers to anything. There are fundamentals and then there are applications. The fundamentals of marketing still remain very, very same, which were like 100 years back. It's about the consumer. What has changed is the way you approach that consumer, the way you engage that consumer, and the way you can create nudges. And it has changed not because the marketers wanted to change. I mean, I haven't ever met a marketer who said, I need more ways. The reality is that consumers have evolved, their consumption habits have changed. So what you used to earlier was print probably became print and TV, then print TV radio, then whatever. And today, if a consumer is glued to a device which is like the latest data said something about 6 hours, 38 minutes, an average consumer spends on a mobile. If somebody is spending that kind of a time, whereas on TV, he is spending 1 hour, 17 minutes, I'm sure people are going to go behind because of marketing is always about following the consumer. And that's the reason your communication channels have changed. Now with that, and also try and understand there are a couple of different things which have happened in environment. One is that consumers which were used to be glued to a static device, a static shared device, now you have dynamically updated personalized device. That is one. Second thing which has changed very much is about modes of information have changed. The second is the competition. What used to be one person serving thousands today, probably 10 serving those thousands or more than 10 serving thousands in different ways. When you have that kind of a competition, then you have to figure out newer stories. So the way storytelling still remains very important, the way to tell that story has changed. The third thing which is probably putting or which is creating pressure on marketers, so-called pressures on marketer, is that there used to be something called as a consumer life cycle or a purchase life cycle, which used to be at one point in time used to be called as unidimensional cycle. You inform, you explore, you indulge, and then you consume. Today, anything can happen at any point in time. It has become almost like a queue. And this all has happened because of we are standing at a cusp of technology. There is an imaginative people. And then there are systems made available. And I can give all kinds of acronyms from Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. But let me spare you from that. As far as we are talking about the technology, AI is just one of those technologies around it. Okay. And I have a different point of view here on Gen AI. While a lot of people think that Gen AI is going to kind of, the AI, Gen AI, whatever you call ML, AI, there are a lot of acronyms, is going to take over the world. The reality is, at the core of Gen AI also, what exists is objects and relationship between these objects. So whether you are talking about think about it, the latest fad in Gen AI or latest thing which you have seen is Mid-Journey, or you talk about any of the AI tools chatbot, one of the chatbots which is very, very famous, okay, which is kind of everybody was hooked and now has started losing relevance, was all about what was it at the back. It is about some 300 million objects where our relationship is defined. In the simplest way, it's like a kid which you and I have at home. When the kid graduates from first class, they have alphabets. Then he goes on to second, alphabets turn into words. At some point in time, you start what is called as language. Okay, but at no point in time, till it reaches to a certain place, the difference between any kind of a systems and humans will remain something called as imagination. I mean, who thought that going to different planets was possible? Till somebody made it possible. Okay, and it's the same kind of a feeling which we are today in a deja vu when the computers first came in India, and some of us would have seen that era, or when the hand loom got changed into the machine looms, when everybody said that everything is going, it's a doomsday because of now machines will make clothes, who will do what? How it can help, the changes it will bring into marketers' life is that ICT, information and communication technology, is getting multidimensional. Consumers are getting much more aware, and hence brands or the marketers need to use technologies to be able to talk to consumers where they are, when they want, how they want, and whichever technology you use and delivers you to there is the technology one should use.
Thank you, Hoshie. That 6 minutes 38 seconds is actual per day data.
This is 6 hours.
Sorry, 6 hours 38 minutes.
Per day.
Mobile consumption.
Mobile consumption,
Right.
on an average. And it is then half of the country gets the electricity for not more than 6-7 hours. Don't put me on record on that one.
So, I don't know whether that makes working, but you're a service provider, you are helping people, organizations use technology and to get to the marketing objectives. What are you seeing in this space? What have been your experiences, some use cases?
Sure. So as a tech provider, we work very closely with all verticals and industries, BFSI, telco, manufacturing. As Ashish mentioned, the core marketing has been the same. However, the channels, the requirements have been evolving over a period of time. So we as a technology platform, we try to bring more tech at the disposal for the marketer, so that during the lunch I was talking with Deepak, and Deepak mentioned that I am a core marketer. Right? I would like to reach out to this new generation, or probably the new consumer. However, I don't want to get into much of the technology, but I want to focus more on the marketing, and that's where we as an organization, as a OEM or a software platform comes into picture, where we try to bake in all the technologies, including GenAI, into the platform and hand it over to the marketer. So the technologies are available at a point. So for example, if you pick any of the new luxury cars or any of the new high-end cars coming in, earlier there was only reverse camera. Now they're coming up with a camera 360. The recent launch of one of the luxury SUVs, they have installed the camera right underneath the front bumper, so that you can see there's a rock or something just ahead of your car. So what they're trying to do, they're trying to give an experience, driving experience, and that's what our intent is, to build a platform which is constantly evolving based on the requirement of our marketers.
Thanks, sir. We still have time for 2 minutes. Sure, due to technology, usage of technology, everyone is using to some extent automation, some level of technology in marketing. For that, the need for consumers to share data, customers to share data has become very, very critical. Without that, it just doesn't happen. However, there are data security concerns. And forget marketing, I had an incident about a month ago where I paid my PhD bill. And within less than 10 minutes, I was there in the office early morning. And so, an hour before, and I got this call, and the data had leaked within 10 minutes from the electricity company. Because my meter is in some other name. And the guy said, if you have a problem, download any test software and I will guide you through it. These are real concerns, data leaks and hacks and phishing and all of it. How do you you're a technology provider, how should companies ensure that their customers feel safe, and what can they do actually to make them feel safe?
Sure. So this question, we get a lot into our conversations, primarily with CMOs in the office, in marketing. So we see this as two sides of the coin. One is the data, the nurturing of the data, and making the data ready for your marketing activities. The other side is actually reaching out to your customers. That's the communication. And the technology, the platforms, the AI, what everything is currently being built on the open source. So that all these platforms and technology are being used on the other side of the technology, where we use we call it pseudo IDs, which is tagged to every customer. So the customer's PII data is never ever exposed to any of the platform which is built on open source. Number one. Second, given the organization strategy, whether they want to deploy their customer profiles on cloud or on premise, we as a technology provider make sure that there are set boundaries which are guided under the principles and passed through the seesaw of the organization. So my response or my answer to all the questions that we get from CMOs, that all these platforms which are built on open source are different, are already baked into the technology platform, and your customers' PII data is as safe as the has been.
Ashish, how do you convince your user that his data is safe? Because without that, you cannot do continuous marketing.
In fact, I am into financial industry, and we are heavily, not only we are heavily guarded, but we are heavily regulated to kind of maintain the secrecy around the consumer data. Again, you need to be able to classify the data between different sets. There is and then tag it accordingly. So there is sensitive data like PII. There is a transactional data, and then there is data at rest. And a lot of us talk about gathering the data, very few of us talk about deleting the data or chunking the data. And marketers typically are prone to that habit, that collect as much as you can without actually kind of thinking that through the life cycle of data. In terms of the data privacy, let me just put it very bluntly. In today's age and time, any consumer thinking about that things are private is a myth. What organization need to do, and that's what one of the deliverables to Web 3.0 is, that you can create wallets. So any one of you, if you have tried anything creating a wallet, you can have identity wallets and consumers can will decide. Okay. As an organization, a lot of us, including the organization which I work for, go through these certifications, go through all kinds of vulnerability tests, create our systems, and most of the data leakage happens not because of one stack is leaking it. In today's age and time of marketing or running the business, I don't think so that any one environment or stack will suffice your all kinds of requirements. The challenge happens when you connect one stack to another, and also because of these are all incremental. What the infrastructure which you created yesterday is only good for yesterday. It might not be able to serve your requirements coming from tomorrow because the consumer is going to change. And if he or she changes, the way he or she is sharing, both in his life cycle, a new platform is added, you have to seep in that data, enrich your existing lake, and then get back to that consumer. Some of the things which organizations can do and are doing is, as I mentioned, it's about vulnerability, it's about planning, it's about adaptability to different stacks on how and what need to be shared. If you can maintain how, what, when has to be shared with the permission orientation and do the right full of certifications, I think then as an organization you are in safe hands and you are keeping consumers safe. And last but not the least, inform the consumer why are you collecting something and what are you going to do about it and for how long are you going to keep it. And I think the new data protection rule which is coming in picture, we were unregulated, so as to say self-regulated market. Now we are going to get into regulated. Word had GDPR, we did not. Our Indian version of GDPR is almost round the corner. I think that should be able to solve a lot of it.
That's if people follow it.
Thanks. So I think from a technical standpoint, both of you have explained it well on how do you manage that. But as a marketeer, the heart of the question I see is how do I build trust with the consumer regarding data, right? So apart from doing whatever we need to do, I think a couple of things that will build trust. First is transparency. So if consumers know how their data is used, or let's say who's talking to you, let's say a chat. So you're having a chat or there's a bot talking to you. The consumer need to know that it's a bot who's talking to them and not a real human being. If it's a real human being talking, let it be a real human being. So from a personal experience, I remember when bots had just started, I was doing some research and I was talking to a bot, and in between I'm struggling why the thing is behaving like that. And at the end of it, I learned that actually it was not a human being and it was a bot. And I didn't feel good. Because I didn't know who I'm talking to. So transparency of who you are talking to, who you are interacting with. Similarly, transparency of what are you going to do with the data. If I know, I'm much more open to giving it. I give the same thing. And how it's going to improve my life. So many times, you put data and you want to, privacy is an issue. So something comes like, okay, if you don't want to share the data, you don't share, but we still end up sharing because we know the recommendation which will come will be very useful, which will help my future searches or whatever I'm going to buy, etc. So having transparency, building trust, giving options or empowerment to the consumer. Finally, if they want to delete, they can delete it. If they want to know what the data is being kept, they should know. So all these things will finally result in more trust, apart from all the organization need to do first.
I'm going to squeeze in one more question. Okay, and this comes from another series that I was involved with, marketing related. We also spoke to consumers there who spoke about excessive intrusive communication. That was a big problem that kind of came up. Now, because of technology, there are different ways of going into the consumer space. There's hyper personalization. Despite that, consumers are finding excessive communication, irrelevant communication, and they're finding it very painful. Ashish, what you are doing? How do you handle it? Very quick responses.
So being into BFSI, especially into credit industry, my industry is famous for making calls to consumers. One of the things which I have done as a brand is that putting up a very, very clear consumer contact policy. How many times a consumer can be contacted, and if a consumer chooses, and how do you deal with consumers not taking a shortcutting? Because at the end of the day, we realize that almost 37 or 38% of my budget was going, and telecalling budget, let me take an example of telecalling, which was going on calls because if you have a pulse of 15 seconds, 30 seconds, you pay up and you are getting disconnected at 3 seconds. Why do you even call? You can't, even if I keep trying, if a consumer is disconnecting me, he or she might not. And if you are giving up money, if he or she needs, you have to come back. More often than not, on the name of personalization and excessive connect, this is a discretion of a marketer to be able to somehow convince you. And whether you like it or not, the classic marketing it's not about conviction. You have to position yourself so that consumer is also open to receive your communication. And that's the thing, a technology enables you to reach to consumer. The classic marketing 101 will enable you to know when to. Knowing when to, and then knowing your tools are only going to take you home. So that was one of the examples. I can give you multiple others, but I think for that 1 minute, this is good.
Sure. Only thing I would add is that my personal view is that this is something you will learn over time. In traditional media, when you plan for TV, let's say there is a reach and there's a frequency, and you learn what is the optimal frequency. Similarly, here also over time you will learn what is the optimal frequency, because your objective is finally not to annoy the consumer, but to make him buy, understand, convince. And if you overdo it, you are not going to do that. So this is something you should be learning over.
So we work a lot with banks, and I'm going to take banking as an example because in India, primarily there are guidelines from RBI that a bank cannot reach out to a customer more than 5 times in a week. However, as an example, there is a bank and there is a customer which has a credit card, a savings account, a car loan, and a home loan. And now each of these product managers would like to send their communication to that customer, either it's an upsell, cross-sell, or probably a better ROI offer. Now they would end up sending about 10 to 15 per product communication in a week. Now how we as a technology organization can bring this to the marketer so that it makes it seamless for them, and also they don't have to work across products teams and evaluate what is the best communication. So what we do, we make it algorithms, and obviously we use a lot of AI and ML in the backend to bring the optimal fatigue level for the customers, so that the right product communication goes to that customer at the right time. So we have solutions where we use set time optimization, where means if Hoshie is more likely to open a communication, whether it's an SMS or an email on Wednesday between 3 to 5. So our platform enables that communication lands in Hoshie's inbox during that window itself. Plus, we don't send more than 5 communication in a week, even if the marketers pump those campaigns through the system. It gets popular.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm not going to attempt another question, otherwise the bomb will go off after a minute or so. But I want to kind of thank you all for coming in and sharing your perspectives. What I understood is that as automation is there, and I liked your perspective of it's not that there are newer mediums. It's the way the consumer is consuming today information and communication. I think that was we always knew it, but that was a key. Understood about security, inclusive communication again. It's about what the marketer decides and what your platform kind of does. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, audiences, for I'm assuming no one's slept as yet. It's good to have all of you. Thank you.